Yes, it's John G. Sutton. Tales from the Jails. Yes, folks, it's me book. Yeah, what do you expect? Yeah, John G. Sutton. Anyway, forget that. You can buy it on Amazon. Right, I'm going to talk today about restraints in prison, and specifically body belts. I mean, we all heard about people being put into straight jackets, but they didn't have straight jackets at Strangeways or Wormwood Scrubs. They had body belts, and the body belts consisted of a thick, it would be about that thick, about 2 or 3 inches, heavy leather belt with metal handcuffs at the side, and the inmate would be handcuffed to the belt, so that the movement of their arms would be no more than 6 inches, perhaps. So it was very restrictive. But listen, they only put people into those body belts if they were repeatedly attacking the staff. I was in a cell at Strangeways where we were putting one of these body belts onto an inmate, and believe this or not, he grabbed hold of my colleagues, another hospital officer, because it's hospital staff that do this. He grabbed hold of my colleague's wedding tattle, gripped it by his arm, and pretty lifted him physically. I was a big, strong guy, this. And he's screaming away, my mate. It took some getting off, I tell you. Yeah. Anyway, we managed to get him in the body belt in the end. That took some doing. And of course, when people are restrained in a body belt, you are required under the regulations to release one hand so that they can feed themselves. Those are the regulations. Yeah. I will leave it up to your imagination to decide whether or not that happened. Certainly I never saw it. You see, the problem is, if you've got somebody who's determined to injure you, you're not going to release them, are you? You're not going to set them loose to grab hold of you. And some of these prisoners, tremendously strong. I was working on the hospital unit at Strangeways, and I don't know if you've ever seen the people who walk like a robot, like jerky movements like that, like they're a wind-up toy, Anyway, we had one of them. I've seen a few of them. I had one of them at Strangeways, walking along like that, like he was a robot, and one of my fellow hospital officers went to him and said something about "you stupid bastard," and this guy went boosh right in his snot box. Seriously, blood and snot everywhere. It was a right mess. And I just said to this guy who was walking like a robot, I just said, "Would you like to go back into your cell now?" And he, like clockwork soldier, walked back into the cell. I just shut the door. Then, of course, I had to deal with my colleague who's got a broken nose, and it was badly broken. Anyway, we got him to hospital, Salford Royal Hospital, where he was, I don't know what they did to his nose, but they did it up, all stuff on his nose, plaster, they obviously set it, but it would never look quite the same again. So some of these people are quite dangerous, and it's not as if staff go looking for trouble, very often. I mean, I certainly didn't. I'm not that mad, I'll have a go at the POA, yeah, but not mad inmates. I'm not going to do that, because some of them are certifiable, seriously. If you've never actually dealt with somebody who is completely and utterly insane, you've missed out on life. Seriously. There was an inmate on the hospital wing at Strangeways who was, I think he was like a canon or a bishop in the Catholic Church. Seriously. And he got it into his head. Obviously, he'd had some kind of mental breakdown. He got it into his head that the nightclubs in Manchester were being used by Satan, who was using them to trap people and take them into his realm of evil and hell. And so this mad bishop started setting fire to nightclubs. There were about 3 nightclubs burnt down in Manchester. This had been the early 80s. And he ended up on the hospital wing at Strangeways. Now, I would say 70% of the time he was perfectly lucid, and he couldn't quite understand why he was in prison. But he was obviously a form of schizophrenia, because when he switched into his insane mode, he was completely a different man. Completely different. He used to wallpaper, he used to get The Guardian, he'd read The Guardian, and then when he was mad as a gnat, he'd urinate all over the paper. Seriously, urinate all over, and pasted wallpaper his cell wall with The Guardian. And then when he came into his become normal again, you'd wonder who'd done it. Who's done this to my cell? Well, you kind of done it yourself, you know. It was a shame for him. He was mentally ill, and they came. About three senior clerical officials from the Roman Catholic Church came to visit him, and I was in charge of the visit. You know, so these 3, I think there was a couple of psychiatrists and a senior medical officer from the Catholic Church came, and I took them into a private room in the hospital, the unit, and sat them down and got them a cup of coffee, and then I collected the prisoner who was on remand, you know, for medical reports, and I brought him in to see them, and I got him a cup of coffee as well. Because my reasoning was that if he was sat there, they were drinking coffee, and he wasn't, he would be felt awkward, you know, like it put him in a difficult position. So I got him a coffee as well, and very thankful for that, because he was he was sane then, you know, he wasn't in his opposite mode. He wasn't Mr. Hyde. He was in his Dr. Jekyll mode. Seriously, yeah. Hey, when I'd finished that, and they agreed that they were going to take him to a sanatorium, and that they would make representations at the court. So he was committed to the care of the Catholic Church. He wasn't placed in any further prisons. But you got to treat. I mean, he was obviously a highly educated man. He must have been Oxford or somewhere like that, where he'd done a degree in theology. He got loads of letters after his name and all that. But terribly, he completely cracked. But you've got to treat people as you find them. But when I'd finished that, my chief officer, who was the head of the hospital staff, yeah, he called me and said, "What's this about you giving coffee to one of the prisoners? Our coffee?" I said, "Well," I told him why I had to do it. He said, "You don't do that." He said, "I'm telling you, do not give coffee to the prisoners. It's not for you to make decisions like that." So what am I supposed to be doing? I'm a hospital officer. He's a patient. You know, first of all, he's a patient. Secondly, he's a prisoner. And that guy really was a patient, you know. But you don't get any sense out of people like that in authority. They're just mad, aren't they? Anyway, restraints. That's basically what you did. If they were mad, then you injected them, and then that's what we did in the future. My mate he had a sore bollocks for about a week. Yeah, it's the song dinger, folks. The infamous song dinger. You know why? Because you're going to get a song. And I'm going to sing to you. This is something that I've been inspired to sing today by the extremely cold weather that we've got out there. It's -3 here, where I am at the moment, in Lancashire, in England. They used to speak funny in Lancashire, you know. When I first moved into one of the mining towns, I couldn't understand a word they were saying. They said things like, "No, lad, dust I won't fight, eh? Give me one, mate." Things like that. which means, roughly translated, it means, right, young man, are you ready to have a fight? Are you with me? Are you ready to have a fight? And will you be going home tonight? Going womp neat. Wom being home, neat being night. Going means going. Anyway, enough of the linguistic lessons for today. And don't forget to buy my book, by the way. I'm going to sing to you now. So I'll just ring the dinger again in case anybody's inadvertently staying behind and doesn't want to be tortured. Ah! Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Oh, it doesn't show signs of stopping, and I bought some corn for popping. The lights are way down low. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. When we finally kiss goodnight, how I hate going out in the storm. But you're ready to hold me tight. All the way home I'll be warm. Oh, the fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbying. But as long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. There you go. Let it snow. Well, it's bloody snowing here and it's freezing, I tell you. Don't want that. Thanks very much for watching Tales from the Jails.